I just want to make sure that so that you
Can
just
we
know.
adjust your height, Cobus?
Say again.
Can we
No,
adjust your height? Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that.
that we are same. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Okay. I just want to go live on Instagram as well. Just wait quickly. Okay, go live. Okay, so you just know we live on a few channels. We live on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. We even live on Twitch. Can you believe that? And Rumble is another one that we are live on. So we are a few live and a few stages. Let's give it just a second or two for people just to join and see how many join. I'm excited, just before we get off, let's give 5 minutes or so for people to join. But quickly, how was 2025 for you? Let's just check in, how was 2025?
Let me tell you, every year since 2020 has gotten better and better. I've been so grateful. Lots of businesses still continue to struggle. And we see these players every day struggling through month end and surviving instead of thriving. And you and I know that with a great mindset and a great work ethic and some skills, you can change the game. So one thing I think we share in common is that there's a constant reinvestment in ourselves. And,
Yeah.
and I think that's a game changer if you want to be dominant and successful and thrive under these conditions. South Africa is not for sissies, right?
Not for sissies. But the thing, I've probably know you now for 10 years, eh?
Yeah, maybe longer. I would go probably 2013, 14. Yeah, somewhere there. Could be just more than 10 years. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Well, let's say, I think 2015 was the Rocky group or something. And amazing how much business has happened since then. And, then we've worked together with a few multiple companies. And you say 2020 has been good. It's a lot of changes. Tell me quickly, what was for you with all of your clients this past year? What were some of the challenges that you faced? And not from your side, but what your clients are facing currently.
I think for businesses, everybody's trying to do business without making the necessary investment in their people. You see, until AI replaces the salesperson, you're going to have people who come into the system who are broken, they're depressed, they have financial problems, they have health problems, relationship problems, and you want them to go into the world and sell and be great, regardless of what happened to them. So I find that the people stuff is the hardest stuff. You can have the best product in the market, you can have the best marketing in the market, but if you don't have the best sales team doing the best sales, you'll be undersold. So I think the investment, I see companies trying to squeeze training and development. And I think it's so wrong. You're cheating your company, you're cheating your people, and you're cheating your customer by shrinking training and investment. Shame on you. You should spend more money than your competitors if you want to win this war of sales.
So you also picked up, that the companies are pulling back their budgets and they all saying it's hard and it's tough and it's challenging. But the thing is, Vinesh, and I'm going to ask you, I see people are starting to join and I see in the other channels as well. But we've been in business, 20 plus years, right? It's every year is the same thing. Have you noticed every year that people complain about it was a tough year, and then they all have, man, next year we're making it next level, we are upping the game, we're gonna have a great year, and then the end of the year, what's the topic? Oh man, it was a freaking tough year, isn't?
Right.
Have you reflected on it? Every year has been like that.
Yeah. I think that two or three things. Number one is I think people lie, they're disingenuous. I think people are winning this game and they're killing it. They're just not telling you, right? I think that's happening. The second thing is that some people are just big talk and no action, so they can't win the game ever. It's always going to be hard for them. And then I think the third thing is that there are a lot of people who dream big, underperform, underachieve, and always blame last year, the competition, the government, the economy. But these are constants, like you said, 20 years of we've constantly had the ANC. Corrupt as they may be, we've constantly had the Chinese investment, as bad as that may or good as that may be for our economy. We've constantly had pressure internationally. So, the more, there's a wonderful quote, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yes. And every year they find the same reasons to complain about. And I think that is why we are here, is to make a difference. Now, just a quick recap. What was your word for the year of 2025, and how was your year for you and your business?
Hey man, for me the word was energy. Energy. That is my word for the year. Like, how do you push so much energy into the universe that God, your competitors, your customers must stop to pay attention to you? How do you push that energy, that whether that's email marketing, telephone marketing, talks, free talks, paid talks? How do you push so much of your message that it hits people on so many levels that even if they want to get away from you, they can't? So my word was energy, and the second part, Cobus, I may have missed that.
So how was your business for you this year? How did your business grow?
It was energetic. I spent a week in Cape Town every month. I spent a week in Durban every month. I spent 2 weeks in Joburg working every month, and my calendar was probably, I would say, 70% full. So high energy, high activity, a great year. I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful to my customers because they see the value in having the sharpest tools in the shed. They see the value.
Now, if you had to reflect, what was one or two or maybe three things that you say was the difference for you this year for having such a good year? What was that one or two, three things apart from energy, right? That you say you did something different that helped your business to grow.
Yeah, I think it's the investment in self. If my cup is not full, how am I going to fill yours, Cobus?
Yes.
So I've got to fill the cup every day, and that is through prayer, meditation. It's through reflection, writing, journaling, healthcare, self care, mindfulness, meditation. There's a whole. You could go on and on and on. Everybody talks about a morning routine. We'll deal with that at some point, but it's about that self investment. How's Cobus and Vinesh going to be the sharpest guy in a room, a conference room? We're dealing with CEOs, CFOs. These guys have big degrees. I ain't got a degree. The only degree I have is Celsius. So so to be in the room with these guys, be more knowledgeable about them, about your product than they are, to give them insights they've never had before, to rock their worlds in a way is going to force you to level up on so many levels. So I think for me the second thing was to keep filling the cup, and the third thing was we're always going to have haters, man. We're always going to have people against us, fighting against us, pulling against us. And I've had my fair share of it. And I see every year it just gets worse. I had a guy say, Vinesh does cold calls that are pre-scheduled. Because I walk into an event and I'll pull out anybody's phone in a room and schedule a cold call. I have a 70% close rate on a cold call. Some mofo says those are pre-scheduled. And I was saying, call him here, put it live on YouTube, bring up your phone. He wouldn't take my call, of course.
No, awesome, man. And I think that's the secret. For me, it was as well. The one challenge I had, I was running at one point at 300 kilometers per hour, and I didn't take some off time. And one thing that I realized the importance is of balancing and importance of health. We're going to speak about what we do and what's been working for you. For those who are out there, I'm known as the fireman, and he's known as the ice guy. It's almost like Top Gun, eh? Ice and and Top Gun and ice. But it's exciting what we're planning. We've both learned from our year. We've both experienced the same thing with our clients. The same. I have to fill my cup. Exactly what you're going through. And one thing that I'm planning for 2020 success. I'm calling it 2020 success because it's going to be a successful year. Power of the words, power of mindset, everything that you focus on is you're going to get. For those who are out there, is me and Vanessa came together, and with his energy and my warrior spirit, we decided we're going to do something and do something in 2026. In January, we're launching a fire and ice event, right? And I'm going to ask Vanessa to tell a little bit more about it. But guys, if you are in sales, if you are in marketing, if you own your own business, this is not the guy on the street. This is for specific individuals that wants to have a 20 to 20 successful year. Vinesh, okay, tell me, what's the plans, right? Can we start eavesdrops it a little bit so we can discuss about it? What can people expect?
Love it. Hey, listen, you and I always agree about this. The first thing is mindset. If we can move
Yes.
people's mindset, there's this wonderful quote in the Bible, Cobus, and I say this with love and conviction to our Lord and Savior, that I'm not Christian, but this is beautiful, and I'm very biblical. And there's a beautiful verse in the Bible that says, "Faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain." Where the freak is your with faith, my brothers and sisters? So if we can get mindset and that faith and belief again, we can do anything. Henry Ford, whether you think you can or can't, you're right.
Right. Yes.
You
As a
know,
man thinketh,
so in
so
his heart
is
is he. That's it.
yes.
So these are all timeless principles, and we've sadly moved away from them. We started believing the news. We started believing the naysayers. We started believing the untruths that we've told ourselves. You're not good enough. You don't deserve it. Success is for them, not for you. You're meant to be poor. You're meant to be middle class. Somebody's told us this BS, and we bought into it. So I think number one is that when people come to this event, this Fire and Ice 2026 win. How do you start winning in life? Because nobody is born to be a loser, Cobus, right?
Yes. Nobody.
Dude, I come second, and I hate second. And God forbid it's Formula One and you second by 0.0001222. You
Yeah.
can't even measure
But
that.
people don't remember the guy that came second, right? So it's one of my clients. They race racing cars, and their father used to say, "First is first, and second is shit."
Yep, yep. And I
So
say
you
second
don't
is as good as
remember.
last.
You
Nobody
don't you
remembers
don't
you.
remember the bronze medalist or the silver. You remember the gold medalist, and I love
That's it.
it because 2020 success for me it's a success about its success. But to get success, you have to win. So you have to first we spoke about you have to get a winning mindset, right? So winning mindset is going to be important for 2026. Okay, what else? What's the next step?
Hey, listen, you're gonna have to get some a bigger think. So mindset is one thing, that's like foundation. But how
Yes.
big can you think? How big can you think? Like when I was a little boy growing up in the Cape Flats, Study Cap, when I was growing up in the Cape Flats, we lived in these RDP government houses. They were very small. You fought in one room, you smell it in the other room, right? It was that bad. So my thinking was like, if I could just get a bigger house, like a bigger flat, a bigger apartment, and then you get one and you think, oh my God, I thought too small, because today I was watching something about Houghton house for sale, 144 million rand penthouse. And I went like, oh my God, we didn't think big enough. So if you can have a bigger think, when I say bigger think is stop going for target. Like some people just want to make X. I hear entrepreneurs, some business owners, if we just make target this year, we'll be okay. I've heard worse. If we just
Yes.
make what we made last year, we will be
Yes.
okay. So the thinking has shrunk because there's no big thing, there's no big, hairy, juicy, audacious goal that inspires. And I think we all need to work for inspiration as opposed to perspiration and do last year's target. So how do people get a bigger think? And this means thinking bigger about your target, your possibility, your market share. Who says that your target is 100 kgp per month? Why can't you write 1 million GP per month?
Yeah.
Who stopped it? Like who put that glass ceiling on potential? That's my question.
Yes. I love what you say. It's a glass ceiling. We have to break those glass ceilings. It's just a breakthrough because once it breaks, there's new glass ceilings that we need to break through. But again, I agree with you. It's a big thinking. I find it with a lot of people. And it's the same in my own business as well. Me and my team usually come together and we challenge ourselves to think outside of the box, to think bigger. And it's like you fall into those habits of shucks, you read the newspaper, oh, the economy is bad. You start seeing people being laid off. You hear in the news Trump has now just said something. There's all these negative news that is surrounding by us, right? That impacts us. And I think an event like this, it's not just a once-off event. It's events that kicks off, that sort of ignites, not ignite the fire, but ignite the cold spirit in you as well. To say that "No, I will do whatever it takes, no matter if it's fire or ice. I will go and run for that goal." It's you only. It's I think it's Usain Bolt that there was a saying that he trained for 4 years. I don't know how many million hours, right, to run a 10-second race, to get onto stage for a few seconds, right, to have that gold medal. But
Right.
he's practiced for four. So, and here's the thing: is it's the same. How many people that are in business develop themselves to become a better business leader? Go to sales courses. Do you know Vanessa, guys? For you out there, Vanessa is one of the top sales trainers in South Africa. And I've asked him this in the past as well, but he will say, how many salespeople really read sales books or go to sales events? Almost zero, right? And then they want to complain about how bad business is. How important is for a salesperson and a company to invest in sales? Because for me, the one foundation pillar of all, there's people, there's finances, but then number one is sales. You always have to sell. So tell me a little bit about why you think sales is going to be important with 2026 success.
Sure. No sales, no business. No sales, no payroll. No sales, no accounting, no finance, no logistics, no HR, no warehousing, no nada, nix without sales. So sales is like we say it's the lifeblood of your business, dude. I think it's the oxygen, it's the heart, it's the whole respiratory and blood system of your body. Without sales, you're dead. And here's why sales people and business owners must invest in their people. Number one, sales is a high rejection occupation.
Yes.
It's a massive rejection occupation. And especially in the beginning years when you start off as a novice, untrained, and then you go through the ropes and you find a little system and you get better and better. But what happens is that most people find a system that keeps them surviving sales, not thriving at sales. So I would say number one, it's the lifeblood of your business. Your business lives and dies by sales and sales alone. Your best kept product is a secret in your garage until salespeople can convert it into revenue. And the revenue is the most important thing in a business. It's not your expenses. Cobus, when they tell you your quote is a little bit rich for them, then I'm going, no, my quote ain't rich. You're poor. You're thinking small. You need to think bigger, because the more you can throw at your people, the more you can invest to them, the more you empower them to be, do, and have more. So I would say high rejection. Number two, there's very little support, because in salespeople don't go around and say, Cobus, I'm struggling, please help me. My ego is so big, even if I sold nada. I sold nothing. Yeah, man, I was a top guy here in 2019. Dude, you're a has-been. You're a has-been. So there's little support. The business owner expects the manager to train the salesperson. He himself is untrained. Now, when I'm talking about training, I'm talking about professional selling, B2B,
Yes.
professional selling, B2C, how to follow up a customer, how to pitch on a phone call for a meeting, how to network, how to meet and greet, how to do a presentation, how to handle objections before they even arise, and then how to qualify a customer into a deal where at the end of a process, number one, you get some money, number two, they get some world-class training, and number three, they get the results. So without sales, my friends, that's like trying to that's like having a plane with no wings. A
Yeah.
business without sales, a plane with no wings, a boat with no hull. You just got the top. You got no hull. It's a car with no engine. So if you ever want to spend money in Cobus, you and I go to conferences, right? It breaks my heart. They spend hundreds of thousands on the bar bill, maybe millions on the bar tab, and they tell you that your quote for your talk, your inspiration, is too rich.
Yes, I know. I'm like, they have
Shame on
enough money.
you.
They have enough money for their alcohol, but they don't have money for
Bro,
the
who's better at 10 o'clock at night after three Jägermeisters, five Caparinas, four bombs, Jäger bombs, five, I don't know what else they drink, but who's better to go and sell now? Tomorrow morning, that salesperson's Babalas. He gets a customer call. I think, come on, guys. We just have to get this. Now, I'm not saying don't celebrate. Celebrate in class and style. But when you
Yes.
invest in a guy like Cobus, or you bring me in, or you bring anybody in, if you want to have world class results, spend world class money, man. You, you
Yeah.
you can't you can't buy a world class guy with your Zimbabwe rupees or your Zimbabwe dollar. So sorry to go off on a tangent there, but I just noticed that sometimes we are penny wise and pound foolish. I often ask this question, Cobus, and salespeople take note of this question: do you want the best firewalk at your event, or do you want the cheapest firewalk at your event?
Because the thing is, you can either drive a Merc or you're going to drive a Tata. The Tata might hurt, but the Merc will be smooth sailing. One of my friends, Francois, the Rockstar coach, is on here as well. I see, and you always, and on my journey, always had to challenge me and say, Cobus, if you're not busy, you're not on the phone enough. If you're not busy, you're not doing enough calls. If your bank account is empty, you're not in front of people. And I think that's the thing is your results you are having at the moment is the choices you are making that is given that results. Companies that complain that they're not performing, is you can go look at it. They've probably did events where they spend much more money on booze than developing their staff. When they do learning and development, they use these centers that are approved.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
theory thing that they go through. They sit there, they get a certificate, go home. I've done it, tick the box. But nobody's checking up. There's no accountability. It's not breaking down. How do you use that into the business and make it viable? And that's the challenge that I find with all of this is that, that is why they're not performing. They invest in the wrong things and then they complain it's not good. It's like me
Right,
complaining about the gym is not good, but I don't even have a gym contract. I just went to gym once, right?
right,
My
right,
thing is sales is the number one foundation of the business. Now, planning an event for 2020 success, right? What is that event about? What can people expect? They're going to come, it's a full day, right? It's the
right.
end of January. So it's basically you just got back out to work, you're realizing, shucks, the year's starting. You wake up, it's end of Jan. You haven't done anything yet. You're just busy getting wake up. Now you're already going in Feb. Guys, we're almost halfway through the year. Not really, but that's how the mind works, right? It's the end of Feb example is the financial budget from the government. It's a
Yep,
new
yep.
financial year, and then it's, you haven't even
Easter
planned yet, right?
holidays.
Easter holidays are planning, right? And sucks before you know it. So the idea is to do it end of Jan to kick off the year and to really set yourself up to win. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So number one, I would say is that get your mindset right. Number two is number two is make sure that you're thinking big enough about your possibility and your opportunity. Don't place a glass ceiling on you. Number three, I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of very practical tools that you should be doing. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But I'm going to give you 5 practical tools and maybe 2 bonus ones that I would help you double your income in the next 90 days. And people say, how's that even possible? Well, I'll show you. And if you follow the process for 90 days, you should double your income. So here's the thing. Get your head right. Set some big, hairy, audacious targets. Number 3, acquire the skills. Training or learning should be a practical, hands-on activity. You remember when you were a kid, you tasted the plastic ducks,
Yes.
duck, duck, and you tasted it. It was yellow, and you had to spell Y-E, and you compared it to the sun. Now you're learning these principles. How do you make it practical for the user? So when they leave there, it's not jargon and theory. Because when I say, do you cold call? They all say, yes, of course I cold call. Okay, how many cold calls have you done this week? I 5 a day, but last week I wasn't at the office all day, so I did 1 cold call last week. No wonder you're in poverty land, my friend. 1 cold call is never going to take you to success. So get the script so you can pitch over the phone. Number 2, get the appointment so you can qualify. Number 3, make sure that when you're in the room, you can find the need, find the gap, the difference between pain and pleasure. Where's your customer? Do they need X, Y, and Z? Or are they suffering a pain that they want to acquire? One of my best examples is, Cobus, have you ever had dental pain, like at 2 in the morning? You've drunk the Jack Daniels, you've done all the pulls, the clove from Oma doesn't work anymore. You got a 9 mil, you're ready to blow it out. Have you been there?
I've been there, yes.
Good. So you know what I'm talking about. This is a hot customer because if I call Cobus, if he called me and said, Vinesh, I believe you're a 24-hour dentist, what does it cost? Now, Cobus's dentist will say $2,500. Vinesh says, listen, Cobus, I can be there in 15 minutes. It's going to cost you 10 grand all inclusive. You'll have to pay by credit card. Tomorrow's a public holiday. No dentists are open. What's your address, please? So you got to get yourself some skills. Find the gap. Solve their pain or take them to pleasure. You wake up in the morning,
That's
you
2
either got
things.
pain or pleasure. One or
So you
two.
need to, yes, you need to identify what their pain is, because once you have that pain, people will be paying everything, because now it's value. They value that, that value of 10K compared to 2.5, it's 10 times better, right?
Yep,
Because
absolutely. Because
the
now you're
pain
going to
is
sleep
so much.
well. You're going to sleep in peace, tranquilized with morphine or something, or
And if
something
you
like that.
don't take it, that pain is going to get worse, and then
It's
you're
going to get
gonna,
worse.
you're
And
gonna,
then, and
it's
then
gonna
you're gonna
hurt
hate
you.
everybody. You're gonna hate us all, and then you go onto Instagram and forget it. But the point I'm making is find the pain and find the pleasure. Your job as a salesperson is to move them from pain to pleasure, and that's a whole process you can learn. Bear in mind, so many deals fail because of follow up. How many people tell you, "Call me in the new year"? 80% of those calls never happen, Cobus.
Yeah,
Call me in Jan. 80% of those calls never happen. You know why? Because salespeople write off in their minds that guy was just being polite when he said it. He didn't mean it. And if I phone him now, what if I'm bothering him? Maybe he forgot. Maybe. So what do? The amateur salesperson talks himself out of a sale.
out of
The
it. Yes.
professional salesperson, I talk myself into the sale. So it's a different programming, right? I want to go and sell. I want to go and pitch, and I want to get an objection, because to me, an objection is a 50% buying signal. An objection means you're interested in what I'm saying. Otherwise, you tell me to F off, close the
Yeah.
door, shout me out, and get rid of me. But because you're starting a rebuttal, I now have a chance to respond. So that shows engagement. And that's a buying signal. Never get it wrong. An
So,
objection is not a lack of interest.
yes, I agree with you, but I have a 2 cents that I want you to set. Renate here has asked a question. Hi, Renate. Nice to have you. So nice to see you again. Hope your team is doing well. She says, how do you continue to embed a good culture in a sales team that comes from a very bad culture? I found it really hard as a manager of a sales team to kick the bad habits and forget the bad culture that is still there. Um, my team has so much skills, but just not enough follow through. How do I change that? Just your 2 cents, please.
Renette. Is that for me or for you, Quibus?
You go first, then I will. You go first.
Okay, Renette, number one is you bring a guy like me or Quibus to your company, not for one day, because nobody goes to the gym once to get a six pack.
Yes.
Culture is manufactured every day. So our job is to infect the culture. You've got to give them the COVID culture. Forgive me, COVID's a bad word. You know what I mean? You got to give them the culture that you want: positive, uplifting, inspired, activity driven, winning, deal closing. So you got to drive that culture. Number one. Number two is that you can't do it once a day, or sorry, you can't do it once every quarter or once every month, because you're the manager, or you're the team manager, the sales manager. You don't have the time to influence your people, but you want to have people like Cobus and I go into organizations and change culture. And the culture that I bring, Cobus will speak for the one he does, is that I bring in high energy, a great attitude, and a great vibe. We're in a team together. I remind people that we're committed. We do a pledge together. We belong together. We spend 8 to 10 hours a day together. Let them count, because I spend more time with you guys than I spend with my wife and kids back home. So are we a winning culture or losing culture? And then set some milestones for this culture so you can measure and manage it. Number three, set some incentives for your culture. So let's go and set a big, hairy sales target. And as one, the Springboks, they have a culture. Bafana has a culture. The leading F1 team has a culture. So the culture is not something you adopt like yogurt culture. You can't just grab the yogurt and we've got the culture. No, you've got to sow it, you got to seed it, you got to water it, you got to nurture it, and then we've got to work together where we have some meaningful connection together. Because a lot of cultural issues or misfits are because we just do not connect. And one of the greatest things in sales is rapport. And in rapport, it's not just the customer, it's me and my manager, it's me and my colleague. If I don't see the value in my internal sales team, why do I need them? Now I'm out of rapport. But if I can see the value, and if the value can be articulated, and if I can, again, going to go back a few steps, set some sort of big, hairy, audacious target, and when we win, Simunia, we win together, and nobody wants to lose. And then you respect and acknowledge the new culture. So it's reinforcement, and like Cobus has the Viking culture, power. There's so much value in the culture. He could unpack that with us. That could be a one-day seminar. The Viking culture of leadership, the Viking culture of business development, the Viking culture of conquer and divide, the Viking culture of taking over the world. Hey, Renette, I hope that answers your question. Over to you, Cobus.
Thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, Renate, if that's something you want to add to that, please throw it in. One thing that I bring into teams, and it's not just in a mainly sales team, but it's in team, is to create a culture first. Is what is our goals and vision that we want to achieve, right? set out what is that standard. I love what you say about the code of pledge. I call it a code of honor. It's a code that set up amongst the team what we pledge that we're going to do with consequences to keep each other accountable. If I don't show up, so it's for the manager not to keep the people accountable, but it's to have the pledge keep the team accountable. So what's the consequences? Like this one team, consequences is if they break one of those rules and they don't deliver, guess what? The consequences is 500 Rand in the kitty. They're going to feel it in their pocket. Second thing is, I remember in the one sports team that I was in, if they don't show up and they break one of the rules, guess what? Wash the car. The manager doesn't set the consequences. The team votes on what the consequences is. So nobody feels like the manager is forcing it down. But one thing that I find, it's exactly, and that's why, like me and you, we don't work with companies on a once-off basis. It's a minimum of a 12-month journey. And the reason for this is that we can guarantee results. It's like you go to the gym, you have the plan, you have the program, you have a coach, all of that. What's the chances of them having results in the end of the day? Almost 100%, right? And that is what I'm saying is I work with a team. It's like you say, you become part of their family. One thing is also your meetings. How's your meeting structured? Is it hours meetings, or is it focused meetings focusing on what is our 20% that's going to get our 80% of the results this week, and then pushing for it so that we get the results, and then you measure it, right? And here's the thing, Vinesh, that companies need to realize sometimes is sometimes some of your team needs to be worked out. Sorry about it. If people don't shape in, right, let them shape out. Let them realize that they're not part of the culture, because that's going to be the thing is you coming in, you're creating a new culture. It's the same with Rassi. He came in. Guess what? Most of the players went along with the new culture and some of them dropped off. The change came in 2023. Guess what? Some of the players that were the winners of 2019 wasn't in the 2023 squad. After that, a year or 2 years later, go look. Some of those players fell out, right? They're not fitting into the culture anymore. So we need to realize we can't keep everyone. Everyone is not, if they're not performing, unfortunately, in sales, is to say, sorry, you're not fitting into our culture. And that's where the whatever it takes then comes from is, are you willing then to go and do whatever it takes to get the results? Or are you want to live by excuses and blame others? I mean, that's a few things that we can add to it. So I hope Renee does it. I just want to say here, Nazneen says, very nice topics. He loves listening in. We have a lot. We can't see how many of you are live on this restream, but I see on Instagram there's a lot of you that is commenting, and I just want to say thank you for all the friends that are watching, and for those who are here on Facebook and so forth as well. Okay, guys, so as you heard, 31st of Jan, that's our date. You're gonna. We're not going to say what else you're going to achieve. Okay, before I talk about the date of the 31st of Jan, I see Renette as the said here something. She says, I agree, accountability. Thanks, guys. You have started a good journey for us last week, Cobus. One team, one goal, one band, one sound. Yes. Thank you, Renate, for that. I appreciate it. So, for those out there, me and Vinesh is doing a one-day win seminar on the 31st of Jan for sales teams, companies, business owners that really want to win at 2026 and want to grow sales. We're going to do 2 activities, and we're going to push the mind. But what we're going to do is we're going to teach you some philosophies. Vinesh is going to focus on sales and sales calling and all of his secrets that he's going to share. I'm going to focus on planning and strategic planning and execution, how to execute that and have that 90-day plan. It's like I think Vanessa said earlier, it's about 90 days. I tell anyone, if you want to turn a business around, you have 90 days. You can turn it around in 90 days. All that you need to do, you need to have the right skills. Anything you want to add to that, Vinesh?
Hey, I think that this is the most important thing. Whether you join us or not, 2026 will happen to you. Question is, will it happen for you?
Yes.
That's the one. The second thing is that for those people who will join us, I promise you this will be the first of many. I anticipate that this might just become something much more in demand, because so many people need to get their heads out of the gutter. So many people have to get their heads into self belief. So many people have to get the skills they need to live the dreams they deserve and desire. And I think that in one of the best rooms in South Africa on the 31st of January. Cobus and I will be taking through a journey. And remember this: sales is a life skill. Yeah, whether it's in this job or the next, whether it's in this career or to jump to the next career, you're gonna have to sell yourself. You have to sell your products, your services. You're going to sell yourself to a partner. If you're married, you're going to keep selling yourself to stay married. Everything's a sale. If you woke up this morning and you decided not to go to the gym, that you made a sale to yourself not to go to the gym. There's some justifiable logic why you didn't go to the gym. And what Cobus is bringing along is that, or what we're bringing together, is a blueprint that if you took
Yes.
the next 90 days and you followed the ideology, the strategy, the work ethic, the skills, the implementation, you will become unstoppable. And the only person standing in your way is that space between your ears, the most valuable real estate in the world. Make a decision to be there on the 31st. It'll be the best decision you made as an investment in yourself. I just want to say one last thing. I apologize for winding on, but
No,
most
please go
people.
on.
Thank you, man. Most people after school never read a book. Most people after school never invest in a course. Most people after school never do anything more to grow their careers. And at very best, they'll study with UNISA or study part time somewhere. And kudos and congratulations. It was a wise man, Tony Robbins' mentor. What is his name right now? I forget it.
Tom Rohn.
Jim Rohn. He says, a formal education will give you a living. Self-education, sure, will give you a lifestyle, a fortune. So make the investment in self. You and your dreams, your family is worth it.
Definitely, I think that's what it's about. I see here Henry Duplessis says, "Hello, Viking. Hello, Henry." Guys, look, 31st of Jan, Ice and Fire coming together, really going to level up. It's not a cheap event. It's going to be a high next level. It's only for those specific individuals that really wants to win in 2026. We're going to post more info about it. When you see snippets of these videos, you will see a link below or somewhere commented that will take you to a website that you can book it. It is limited space. We can't take more than a few. I think it's 20 or so. So we have limited space. So first come, first serve. If you want to bring your team or you want to book us for a special event for your team as well, we can do that as well. But rather bring them in there so that we can help you to set it next level. 90-day plan, focus, sales. What are you going to do? Execution, blueprint, something to follow, so that when you leave that day, you are ignited through fire and ice, that you are ready to take on the world. Guys, we will do more of these lives on the way there. This is just the first to get it kick off. They say if you wait for tomorrow, it will never come. You have to take action now. So when they said, when are we doing it? I said, like 7 tonight, let's jump. So we're just jumping on it, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So Vanessa, anything you would love to add on what I just said, or anything you would love to add more?
Hey, I would say for those people who are right now on the channel with us, I want to send you somewhere to connect further, but this is half baked at the moment. The website, maybe I want to give you that link. Just go to the website. Please note the date on the website is incorrect. So know that up front. The right date is the 31st. It's not changing. So if you go to the website now, we're running an early bird. And part of this early bird is to give you massive value. For the people who come early, take advantage and save a little fortune. Get your team on there. What's that link? It's vineshmaharaj.com/win 2026. Let me just confirm that. Let me confirm that, Cobus. vineshmaharaj.com/win. Win has the number 1 in it, the digit 1. So please, can I ask you to, it's W1 2026. vineshmaharaj.com/win 2026. Win has a
I've
number
got it.
1 in
I've
it.
got it. I've got it. I've got it. I'm going to put it in the chat box. I'm going to show it up live. There it is. Win for 2026. Perfect. Guys, it's the date we've moved. It's the 31st of January, right? So when you book, I know it's the 24th. We just made a few changes to get ready. But yeah, it's Cobus and Vinesh. Hey, man. I love the designer of that page. It just brings out the real fire and ice. We just need to get a background of ice blocks for you as well, eh?
We'll get it in there. We'll get it in there, sir. That's
Okay.
it from me, Cobus. Pull the trigger, make the appointment. You can have you can have another year in your life, or you can have the most unstoppable, freaking amazing, absolutely breathtaking, stunning close to 2026. So that next year, December, you don't have to go to Bella Bella for Christmas and New Year. Maybe you want to go to Bali or Thailand. No ladyboy fun, hey, Cobus. Be great. God bless. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this was Cobus and Vinesh. Man, I know this guy for 10 years. Thanks for everything, Vinesh. He's given me so much business in the past and support. And, now in 2026, we just want to give back to other teams to show them what's possible. Even if it's just igniting that fire and ice in you to say that, you can have a bigger mind, bigger thinking, with a plan to be able to go execute so that in the end of the year you can celebrate with us and say, Cobus, Vinesh, man, join us in for a holiday in Mauritius. We will make plan for that and we will be there. So, guys, ladies, have a nice night. See you soon. Before the end of the year, we're going to do another live. Vinesh?
Absolutely. Can't wait, man.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's get it going, Vinesh. See you,
Danke,
man.
sterkte. Liefde tot ziens allemaal. Ciao,
Tot
ciao.
ziens. Ciao, ciao, né? Liefde.